الرحمن الرحيم ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب وقفينا من بعده بالرسل وآتينا عيسى بن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس أفكلما جاءكم رسول بما لا تهوى أنفسكم استكبرتم ففريقا كذبتم وفريقا تقتلون وقالوا قلوبنا غلف بل لعنهم الله بكفرهم فقليلا ما يؤمنون ولما جاءهم كتاب من عند الله مصدق لما معهم وكانوا من قبل يستفتحون على الذين كفروا فلما جاءهم ما عرفوا كفروا به فلعنة الله على الكافرين بئس ما اشتروا به أنفسهم أن يكفروا بما أنزل الله بغيا أن ينزل الله من فضله على من يشاء من عباده فباءوا بغضب على غضب وللكافرين عذاب مهين وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا بما أنزل الله قالوا نؤمن بما أنزل علينا ويكفرون بما وراءه وهو الحق مصدقا لما معهم قل فلم تقتلون أنبياء الله من قبل إن كنتم مؤمنين ولقد جاءكم موسى بالبينات ثم اتخذتم العجل من بعده وأنتم ظالمون وإذ أخذنا ميثاقكم ورفعنا فوقكم الطور خذوا ما آتيناكم بقوة واسمعوا قالوا سمعنا وعصينا وأشربوا في قلوبهم العجل بكفرهم قل بئس ما يأمركم به إيمانكم إن كنتم مؤمنين قل إن كانت لكم الدار الآخرة عند الله خالصة من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولن يتمنوه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين ولتجدنهم أحصر الناس على حياة ومن الذين أشركوا يود أحدهم لو يعمر 1000 سنة وما هو بمزحزحه من العذاب أن يعمر والله بصير بما يعملون.
for the lovely recitation. Let us make a start on everybody. Of course. Now we are ready to begin. So, starting off with ayah 86, I believe. 87. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ. Musa alayhi salam, as we all know, is in the progeny of Yaqub, of Jacob. Therefore, he falls into the parameters of the Jewish tribes. What many people do not realize, however, although I suppose a lot of people do as well, is that the Jews, my brothers and sisters, from that point onwards, right from their inception of being Jews, given prophets after prophets. Musa alayhi salam was just one of them. They were given multiple prophets. Multiple prophets came to the times and peoples of the Jews. All the communities, all the different peoples there were different prophets coming to the different Jews throughout history, including Zakaria alayhi salam, including Yahya alayhi salam. The Jews were known, my brothers and my sisters, to kill the prophets when they did not agree with the message of the prophets. And Allah makes this clear in different parts of the Quran. The scholars aren't sure on all of the prophets that were killed. However, they do mention the names Prophet Zakaria and Prophet Yahya. So these are two potentials amongst the fact. The fact is that they killed prophets. The exact names of the prophets is contested. But it's speculated as these are two of them, and you've heard of these prominent names before. But there are definitely prophets whose names we don't know that were killed by the Jews. How many prophets were there, you might ask? 124,000 seems to be the most sound opinion. There are different opinions on how many prophets we have altogether. Of course, as you can imagine, not all of these 124,000 are mentioned in the Quran. But the general consensus is that there's around 124,000 prophets that have come throughout history. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam being the last of them, and Prophet Adam being the first of them. And the Jews were known to kill prophets through their time when they didn't agree with that message that was given. One of the most important prophets, as far as the name is concerned, he's very well known to us, is Prophet Isa alayhi salam, around whom the Christian theology is formed. Isa alayhi salam, a lot of misconceptions come actually in regards to Isa alayhi salam. We believe in Isa alayhi salam, we're Muslims, this is part of our creed, this is part of our faith tradition, and belief in Isa alayhi salam is incumbent as part of being a Muslim, my brothers and my sisters. However, do not get it twisted, we do not believe in Isa, Jesus alayhi salam, the same way that, of course, the Christians do. The Christians created many beliefs for Isa alayhi salam after his passing. However, we do believe in at least the followings, amongst other things. Isa alayhi salam, and you might want to make a note of this, in sound Islamic tradition, could bring the life back to the dead, could bring life back to the dead with the will of Allah. This was one of his miracles. Isa alayhi salam was in a time of leprosy. He was brought in a time of leprosy. So what would be the biggest miracle to these people who were so interested in medicine and so interested in illnesses because of the pandemics that were occurring in their time? They would marvel and they would be in awe of anyone who was a good doctor. Isa alayhi salam, therefore, with the will of Allah, could bring the dead back to life. That was one of his miracles. What else could Isa alayhi salam do? He could form the shape of birds from clay by blowing into them, after which they became living birds with the permission of Allah. This was one of the miracles of Isa alayhi salam. What else could Isa alayhi salam do? In genuine sound Islamic tradition, he could heal the sick, and he could prophesize, he could foretell the unseen, as Ibn Abbas mentions. These are the things that we definitely agree with Isa alayhi salam. Anything that goes far beyond the scope of prophetic capacity, understand this point carefully, my brothers and my sisters, is outside of our belief. We do not believe in half of the things that the Christian brethren that we have believe in Isa alayhi salam. We do not go to the point of giving him any of the qualities of God. Everything that he did was with the permission of Allah. But we do believe in him, and we need to bear this in mind saliently, 100%. Okay. Now, why is this mentioned? Because remember how I mentioned a long line of prophets came to the Jews. He was like the last in the line of prophets that came to the Jews. And essentially, they did not like his message and they rejected his message. And Allah mentions this here. How is it that whenever a messenger brings you something that you do not like, you become arrogant, calling them imposters and killing other messengers? And I'm going to look for the exact number, but from what I remember, there was a day that the Jews killed an amazingly large and a horrifically large number of prophets in one day. I'm going to look for that number again. I have it in my notes somewhere. That's just one of their many atrocities, but they were known to kill prophets. Now, I think it was, here we go. I wanted to concentrate on a particular word. A particular word. Have a look at this word, my brothers and my sisters. What does Allah say in Arabic? What am I saying? Allah. Okay, so Allah is saying here, my brothers and my sisters, أَفَكُلَّمَا جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُكُمْ Whenever a messenger comes, something that you yourselves don't like, istakbartum, you have kibr, you have arrogance, you are arrogant. فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ, and a group of you, a party of you, or a group of you, كَذَّبْتُمْ, lied past tense. وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ, قَتَلَ يَقْتُلُ. Whoever knows Arabic understand this. Look what Allah is saying here. It's amazing, and it doesn't do justice. Let me turn this light on. It doesn't do justice hearing it in English because it doesn't have the same beauty to it. But look at what Allah is saying here, brothers and sisters. Just try to understand the beauty of the Arabic Allah has chosen to send a message. Whenever a messenger comes, you become arrogant. You call them imposters, sure. You lie regarding some. You've lied in the past tense. You've lied regarding some, and even to this day, taqtulun, you're still killing them. Allah doesn't say you used to, or past tense, you lied regarding them and you killed them. Allah is saying you're still killing the messengers, or you are killing the messengers, present tense. The word lies is in past tense. Taqtulun is present tense mudari'. Why? This is in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know what? I'm actually going to open this question up because I think you can get it, my brothers and my sisters. Think about what we spoke about 2 days ago. Might have even been yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Why is Allah saying here, I'm going to open up the group chat and I'm going to ask this question to everyone. And I'll give the answer soon enough if no one gets it. But and apparently the chat's disabled. Never mind. If anyone wants to unmute themselves, I'll give 20 seconds for that. Look, the question is as follows. Why is Allah saying, even till today, you are killing the messengers, if this is in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the Jews of Medina? Does anyone know? You can click raise hand or you can unmute yourselves. I'll give another 10 seconds. If no one gets, I'm going to give the answer. Okay, everyone's too shy. Okay, no problem. My brothers and my sisters, this is being sent down to the Jews of Medina in 7th century Arabia when the Prophet ﷺ is alive. This, my brothers and sisters, is around the same time that the Prophet ﷺ is giving the message to the Jews. And what do? When they're conquered in Khaybar? Remember 2 days ago or 1 day ago, we spoke about this. They tried to even kill the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with the poisoned sheep. Remember the roast sheep that they gave on a platter? They tried to kill him, do they not? Poison, assassination attempt. Allah saying, even to this day, you're trying to kill the Prophet's present tense. And that's amazing. The linguistics alone gives so much. It's still going, essentially. Let's move on to 93 to 96, and we'll end there. So 95 is essentially regarding the calf. This is going to the story of the calf when he was away on Mount Sinai. This is regarding Mount Sinai. You know, the Prophet Musa alayhi salam went to Mount Sinai, got the Torah come down, got the commandments. And whilst he was getting his commandments, Harun, his brother, alayhi salam, was with the Jews, and they started to worship a golden calf. This is in reference to that. From 93, I want to take a message for us all. Remember when we took your pledge, your covenant, your agreement? Allah saying to the Jews here, royal we as in Allah, took your pledge, making the mountain tower above you, and said, hold on to what we've given you and listen to what they say. They said, we hear and we disobey. قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَعَصَيْنَا. Now this is, the wording is significant. Not good, but significant. The Muslims, whenever they would get a message from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, commandment from their Prophet, they would say, and Allah, they will get a commandment from Allah. We listen and we obey. We hear what we hear. Allah tells us to do something. The Prophet ﷺ tells us to do something. We do it. Sami'na wa ata'na is the correct wording. Sami'na wa ata'na. We hear and we obey. The Jews would twist this known idiom, this known phrase, this construction that everyone says and does in a way of obedience to their Lord. They would turn it into sami'na wa asayna. We hear and we disobey. We hear and we disobey. And then Allah says, and because of this disbelief, they were made to drink the calf deep into their hearts. Remember that the ideologies regarding the calf was deeply ingrained into their culture by this point. And to anyone of a monotheistic faith, of an Abrahamic tradition, associating Allah or the powers of Allah, the attributes of Allah in any way, shape, or form with an animal or a symbol or an idol just doesn't seem Abrahamic, does not seem monotheistic. But the Jews fell into this because of their arrogance and just their disobedience and the phrases that they would use. You see, my brothers and my sisters, it all starts with your words. You might think, I'm never going to become a horrible Muslim, I'm never going to become a Muslim that completely disobeys Allah. But how often do we watch the small things that we say? You know, the words that we use on a day-to-day basis, the little things, the way we talk to people, the way we talk about the commandments Allah's given us, the little things. Oh, Salah's a chore. Oh, I can't be bothered to do that right now. Oh, not more. It's the little things, my brothers and my sisters, that over the generations they become big. It doesn't happen overnight. Arrogance doesn't seep into your heart instantly. Shaitan doesn't work like that. Shaitan's clever. It starts with your words, very small. And your words perpetuate and become bigger, and it's a domino effect. Before you know it, a few generations will go by, and the Muslims, my brothers and my sisters, will look completely different today to how they look today. And even today, we're not in the best of places, but it all starts off small, and it starts off with just your words. 94. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَكُمُ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ. The dar, the hereafter here. عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَالِصَةً مِنْ دُونِ النَّاسِ. Okay. Allah is saying to them here, if your message is true, if your religion of Judaism, of the type of Judaism that you claim is the haqq, is the truth, if the last home with God is to be for you alone, if Jews have monopoly over Jannah, then you should be happy to die. You should be happy, you should be ready to die if you're honest. This is a clear challenge essentially to the Jews at that time. If you really believe in what you believe in and you're 100% sure you're on the haqq, you're on the truth, you're not doing anything wrong, then you should be happy to die tonight. That and this ayah number 5 tell us so much. What does 95 say? وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ. They're never going to want death. They're never going to be happy to die because of what they've done with their hands. And Allah is aware of those who are the zalim. The Prophet ﷺ is being directed here. You're going to find the Jews clinging to life. They're going to hold on for dear life to this dunya. More than even the mushrik, more than even the polytheists. Any of them would wish to be given a life of 1,000 years, though even such a long life would not save them from the torment. Allah is asking, and we're going to end with this. Allah is asking the Jews, if you really believe in what you believe in, why are you not ready to die tonight? If you really believe you have monopoly over Jannah, if you really believe you're happy to die on your religion, and you're happy with your religion, why are you not ready to die tonight? The Jews were known to fear death. My brothers and sisters, if the Jews were known to fear death, and Allah criticizes them for always pushing death away, what about you and me? Are you scared to die? Deep question for 20 past 12 on the 5th of May, I know, but genuine question as well. If Allah was to take your life at 1:45, and you have 25 more minutes of life, if you were to have 25 more minutes of life from the second I end this meeting, would you be ready to go? I sure wouldn't, I know that for sure. But why? Because I don't feel like I've done enough. How do you feel, my brothers and my sisters? That being said, the Jews wanted more and more and more time because they didn't ever want to go. We can't ever say that we're ready to go. I know that, my brothers and my sisters. But if we are so scared of death, this is a measuring stick for how ready we are to meet our Maker. Are you ready to meet your Maker tonight? I'm not saying you're going to pass away. I'm not inferring anything. Please do not send this to MI5 and then somehow say, no, My brothers and sisters, my simple message is the following. The Jews were criticized because they knew they were never ready to meet Allah. Are we ready then to meet Allah? Are we the opposite of the Jews that were criticized for their mentality? And if not, why? If we are not ready to meet Allah, why? Because we're not happy with our salah? Because we don't think we gave our zakat properly? You could give a 2.6 points just in the same time you gave 2.493 instead of 2.5. If you can give your zakat extra, more than 2.5, give it. If you can give more charity, give it. If you could be nicer to your parents for 24 more hours, do it, my brothers and my sisters, because we can go at any time. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. They say the Prophet ﷺ would remember death. Up to some scholars mention even 72 times a day. When was the last time we remembered death? It is only by remembering death that we change. But we're not ready for death. And if we're not ready for death, then how different are we to the Jews? This is our measuring stick. If it takes remembering death to change, then do it 100 times a day. Make it part of your daily adhkar, your daily remembrance of Allah. My brothers and my sisters. And only that way do we become nicer people as well. Even if you just want to take a really simple nugget from this, by remembering the next life and meeting Allah, you even become a nicer person to those around you. Forget everything else. Forget introspection. Forget becoming a better Muslim. You even just become nicer to those people around you. And the Prophet ﷺ said, he is not from amongst us who is not respectful to his elders and kind to his youngers. Even just your peers, your colleagues, your family, you're better to when you remember death and you remember Allah. We need to remember the fact that we're going to die anytime happens, and it could be tonight, my sisters as well. And only with that remembrance will we become the Muslims that Allah wants us to become. And with that, we will end. سبحانك ربنا رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام والحمد لله رب العالمين. Tomorrow, my brothers and my sisters, it is from 96 or 97 rather to 103. From قل من كان عدو to 103. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.